Tonight's enticing enclosures, locked, loaded, and relentlessly rocking. World War I, says Tiny Island. Public invades Washington Monument. And light-emitting diode invented by Diode Daddy Hollenyak. Plus, coming up, the biggest comb-over in middle management. The results will shock you. Those are the headlines. Time to trim the highlights.
Edsel Newsbang, tearing down the walls of spin with the torch of truth. In 1942,
American forces have snatched victory from the gaping maw of defeat at the Third Battle of Matanikau. This strategic triumph, a curious cocktail of audacity, blind luck, and what military experts are calling a complete disregard for the rulebook, has secured a crucial foothold in the Pacific.
Eyewitness Corporal Burt Beef Wellington, a man whose name is as solid as his constitution, described the scene. "It was a bloody shambles, mate. We were tripping over roots, shooting at shadows, and I'm fairly certain I saw one of our lads trying to surrender to a coconut tree, but somehow, by Jove, we pulled it off."
The victory, a testament to the unpredictable nature of American military tactics, has been hailed as a turning point in the Pacific campaign. General Alexander Vandegrift, brimming with what can only be described as unhinged enthusiasm, proclaimed, "We've shown those nips that we're not to be trifled with. They'll never know what hit 'em."
Japanese commanders, meanwhile, were reportedly last seen paddling away on makeshift rafts, clutching their samurai swords and questioning their ancestral deities.
1888.
The Washington Monument has finally emerged from its scaffolding cocoon, piercing the sky like a colossal stone phallic symbol and causing widespread panic among the local pigeon population. This obelisk of American grandeur, erected in honor of the nation's first president, now stands as the world's tallest structure, making even the mightiest redwood look like a twig.
Eyewitnesses claim to have seen George Washington's spectral form hovering above the monument, waving a giant American flag and shouting, "Eat your heart out, King George!" The monument's completion has sparked a wave of national pride so intense that several bald eagles spontaneously combusted mid-flight.
Local resident Jebediah Cornpone, a man whose wisdom is as vast as his waistline, exclaimed, "It's taller than my cousin Cletus's still. I reckon we've finally shown them European fancy pants a thing or two." British tourists, meanwhile, were seen weeping openly at the base of the monument, muttering about colonial upstarts and architectural overcompensation.
Engineers are now working feverishly to prevent the monument from toppling over and crushing the White House. Its sheer weight threatens to sink the entire District of Columbia into the Potomac. President Cleveland has declared a state of emergency, urging citizens to gaze upon our erect glory, but briefly, lest ye strain your necks.
1962.
Scientists have uncovered evidence that the invention of the LED light was actually a sinister plot to control the minds of unsuspecting citizens.
Eyewitnesses report seeing inventor Nick Hollenyak Jr. cackling maniacally as he demonstrated his first red LED, shouting, "Behold, the dawn of mind control is upon us." Local tinfoil hat enthusiast Crazy Pete claims he's been warning us about this for years.
Reports are flooding in of people being transformed into mindless zombies by their LED-lit devices. Sarah Dimwit, a concerned mother of 3, stated, "My husband has been staring at his smartphone for hours. When I tried to talk to him, he just mumbled something about cat videos and drooled."
The government, of course, denies all allegations, insisting LEDs are perfectly harmless. But can we really trust them? This reporter says no. Stay tuned for our special report, LEDs, Illuminating the Path to Global Domination.
Newsbang, the soapbox of yesterday's truth echoing through today.
And now, for a forecast more turbulent than a bagpipe solo in a hurricane, it's the wind-whispering wonder, Shakanaka Giles. Shakanaka, what meteorological mayhem awaits?
Good evening, viewers. Southern England, a pea super of epic proportions. Fog, thick as treacle. Visibility, a cat's whisker. Guide dogs advised. Northern England, gale force winds. Yorkshiremen, hold on to your flat caps. Garden gnomes, batten down the hatches. Toupees, seek shelter. Scotland, Arctic blast, snow, blizzards, haggis, wrap up, warm, travel, not advised, unless you're a penguin or a curler. Caribbean, tropical tantrum brewing, storm, a corker, winds, banana peeling strength, flights, cancelled. Stay put, and that's all the weather.
In 1942,
Hold on to your coconuts because things are heating up in Guadalcanal. It's 1942 and the Yanks and the Japanese are tangled in a vicious struggle at the Third Battle of Matanikau. The air's thick with tension, like the electric silence before a storm breaks. We go now to our man on the muddy front lines, Brian Bastable, who's braving the chaos to bring us the news. Brian, what's the scene like on the ground?
Martin, the sun rises like a blazing omen over the steaming jungles of Guadalcanal. This place is a tropical paradise transformed into a butcher's block, where the only rhythm is the drumbeat of artillery and the screams of the wounded. The jungle's thick, the mud's deeper than despair, and every breath you take feels like swallowing the ghosts of 1,000 shattered lives. The American forces, led by General Vandegrift, are pressing forward, their rifles barking like dogs that know no rest. I saw a Marine take down a Zero with nothing but a coconut. Martin! A bloody coconut. If ever there was madness, this is it, and it tastes like fear and desperation. The Japanese, once proud and fearless, now flee like shadows before the dawn, their ambitions crushed beneath the relentless advance of the American war machine. The battlefield is chaos, twisted bodies, smoking craters, cries that rise and vanish into the churning sky. And yet there's a taste of victory here, bittersweet and sharp, clinging to the air like the smell of cordite. General Vandegrift is strutting around like a rooster on a heap of broken dreams, his eyes gleaming with the kind of victory that comes with a cost no one dares count yet. The Yanks are pushing the enemy back, and the Japanese, bless their stubborn hearts, are scrambling to keep any foothold they can. It's a turning point, Martin, but it's a cruel one that chews men up and spits out their memories. This is Brian Bastable, Newsbang, signing off from a jungle that's as beautiful as it is damned.
Till 1952.
On this day in 1952, Knowsley Hall, the tranquil seat of the Earls of Derby, was shattered by gunfire. A footman, in a fit of madness, turned his weapon on his colleagues, leaving 2 dead and Lady Derby wounded. This tragic event sparked debates on mental health care, gun control and security at our nation's great houses. For more on this grim anniversary, we turn to our crime correspondent, Ken Schitt.
Good evening, you spineless sacks of shit. Tonight we're diving headfirst into a cesspool of aristocratic carnage that'll make your grandmother's tea parties look like a fucking picnic. In 1952, Knowsley Hall, the fancy-pants playground of the Earls of Derby, became a goddamn shooting gallery. Some pissant footman named Harold Winstanley decided to go full psycho, turning the place into a lead-filled hellscape. This nut job, barely out of diapers at 19, smuggled in a Schmeisser MP40 like he was playing real-life Call of Duty. Then, faster than you can say, crumpets and tea, he turned the place into a bloodbath. Lady Derby, bless her blue-blooded heart, pulled a possum and played dead. Smart move, your ladyship, but the butler and under-butler, they weren't so lucky. These poor bastards got their ticket punched to the great servants' quarters in the sky. Now, you might be wondering, Ken, what the fuck happened to make this twerp lose his marbles? Well, buckle up, Buttercup. Winstanley's life was a shit show from the get-go. Dead dad, siblings in care, and a mother in the loony bin. It's like a Charles Dickens novel, but with more submachine guns. The kicker. This trigger-happy dipshit was found guilty but insane. So instead of the gallows, he got a one-way ticket to Broadmoor Hospital. Talk about a cushy sentence for turning a stately home into Swiss cheese. This clusterfuck of a shooting spree lit a fire under everyone's ass about mental health, gun control, and security at these Ponzi estates. But hey, nothing says, we need change, like a homicidal teenager with a submachine gun, right? This is Ken Shit, reminding you that sometimes the butler doesn't do it, but the footman sure as hell might. Good fucking night.
1912.
And now, a tale of textile turmoil from this day in 1912. In Little Falls, New York, mill workers downed their shuttles and took to the streets, protesting pay cuts faster than you can say reduced hours. The largely immigrant female workforce, backed by the industrial workers of the world, stood firm against aggressive mill owners. While the workers scored a short-term victory, the long-term socio-economic issues persisted like a stubborn stain on society's fabric. For more on this historical hullabaloo, we go to our correspondent Hardeman Pesto. Can you hear the looms of discontent?
Martin, I'm here in Little Falls, New York, where the textile workers have just walked out en masse. It's a scene of utter chaos with hundreds of angry workers flooding the streets. I'm joined by mill owner Thaddeus Pennypincher. Mr. Pennypincher, what's your take on this sudden strike?
Well, I must say, this is all a bit of a misunderstanding. These ungrateful workers simply don't appreciate the opportunity we're giving them to work fewer hours for less pay. It's a win-win situation, really.
Pesto, are you seriously giving this man a platform? Ask him about the workers' demands.
Right you are, Martin. Mr. Pennypincher, the workers seem rather upset about something. Any idea what that might be?
Oh, probably just a bit of indigestion from all the gruel they've been eating. Nothing to worry about.
Pesto, for heaven's sake. The workers are striking because of a pay cut. Can you not see the banners they're waving?
Ah, yes, Martin. There are indeed some colourful banners. Quite festive, really. Mr. Pennypincher, it seems your workers have organised some sort of street party. Care to join in?
Absolutely not. This is a disgraceful display of ingratitude. I'll have you know we've just sent a nurse to address their tuberculosis concerns. What more could they possibly want?
Pesto, I'm begging you. Please ask about the industrial workers of the world's involvement in organising this strike.
Certainly, Martin. Mr. Pennypincher, I understand the industrial workers of the world have been involved. Are they providing the entertainment for this impromptu street festival?
Entertainment? Those rabble-rousers are nothing but trouble. They're filling my workers' heads with nonsense about fair wages and safe working conditions. It's preposterous.
Pesto, this is hopeless. Can you at least tell us how long this strike is expected to last?
Well, Martin, based on the jovial atmosphere here, I'd say this celebration could go on for hours, maybe even days.
It's a 3-month strike, Pesto. 3 months of workers fighting for their rights against exploitative mill owners like your friend Mr. Pennypincher there.
3 months? My word, that's quite a party. Mr. Pennypincher, will you be providing refreshments for this extended celebration?
Refreshments? They'll be lucky if they have jobs to come back to after this outrageous behavior.
And on that note, we'll leave Pesto in 1912 clearly struggling with the concept of labor rights. This has been Newsbang, where the news is apparently whatever Pesto decides it is. Good night.
A day 1888.
And on this day in 1888, America erected its most phallic tribute yet to its founding father. The Washington Monument, a towering obelisk of marble, sandstone, and granite, thrust its way into the skyline of the nation's capital. At 555 feet tall, it stood as a testament to American ingenuity, or perhaps overcompensation. This stone colossus inspired by ancient Egyptian architecture, became an instant symbol of national pride and unity. One can only imagine George Washington's reaction had he lived to see this monumental erection in his honor. For more on this titanic tribute and its impact on American culture, we cross to our correspondent in Washington, Melody Wintergreen.
Washington, D.C., 1888. Melody Wintergreen here, at the unveiling of America's newest obsession, the Washington Monument. It's big, it's bold, and it's pointing straight at the heavens. Coincidence? I think not. This 555-foot marble and granite marvel is a sight to behold. Crowds are swarming the National Mall, craning their necks to get a glimpse of this architectural wonder. It's like a giant birthday candle for the nation's founding father. Except, instead of blowing it out, everyone's just staring at it. Local resident Dolores Dougherty sums it up perfectly. It's just so awe-inspiring. When you see that magnificent monolith, you can't help but feel a surge of patriotism. That, Dolores, or a sudden urge to visit the urologist. The monument's completion is a big deal. It symbolizes national unity, the triumph of American ingenuity, and maybe a little bit of national insecurity. Whatever the reason, it's clear that this obelisk has struck a chord. Senator Horatio Hornblower, never one to miss a photo op, declares, "This monument is a shining beacon for the entire country. It stands as a testament to Washington's legacy and to the boundless potential of America, and possibly to the boundless potential of American stone quarries." As the sun sets on this momentous day, casting a long shadow from the monument's impressive tip, one thing's for sure, Washington, D.C. will never be the same. Melody Wintergreen, Newsbang News from the nation's capital, where size really does matter.
Newsbang, kicking in the doors of deception and stealing the money from reality TV.
For an environmental report that's more chilling than an iceberg in your bathtub, it's Penelope Windchime. Penelope, what eco-horrors are giving you goosebumps?
Oh, the heartbreak. Tonight, viewers, we remember the tragic demise of the SS Volturno, a metal monstrosity that dared to challenge the mighty Atlantic Ocean. On this day in 1913, Mother Nature, enraged by this affront to her watery domain, unleashed a fiery inferno upon the doomed vessel. Imagine the terror, viewers, as flames engulfed that floating tinderbox. Passengers, trapped in a cage of fire and steel, leaping into the icy depths, their desperate screams swallowed by the raging waves. "11 rescue ships, drawn to the spectacle like moths to a flame, valiantly attempted to save the poor souls aboard. But alas, many perished, their lifeless bodies tossed about by the cruel sea. A poignant reminder of the fragility of human life and the unforgiving nature of the ocean." This tragedy, viewers, could have been avoided. Had those arrogant humans respected Mother Nature's power, had they stayed on land where they belonged, those lives would have been spared. This is Penelope Windchime, reminding you that the sea is a fickle mistress. Fear the ocean, stay ashore, and for the love of all that is green and good, never ever trust a boat.
1962.
And now, for a science report that's more illuminating than 1,000 halogen lamps, it's Calamity Prendeville. Calamity, prepare to dazzle us with your scientific brilliance.
Hello, viewers. Tonight on Science Watch, we're celebrating a British innovation that's brighter than a Blackpool illuminations display. It's 1962, and Nigel Holonyak, a brilliant boffin from Grimsby, has just unveiled his latest invention, the LED.
Now, those of you who think a light is just a light, prepare to have your minds blown. This little marvel of British engineering isn't your average light bulb. Oh no, it uses something called semiconductors. Tiny electrical components that Nigel managed to create using nothing but a soldering iron, a bag of crisps, and his trusty ZX Spectrum computer.
The first LED glowed a brilliant red, bright enough to signal a Martian invasion or guide a tipsy chap back from the pub on a dark night. But the real genius, viewers, lies in its efficiency. This little light sips electricity like a vicar at a tea party. It's so energy-saving, it could power the entire national grid with the energy from a well-spun bicycle wheel. So, there you have it. A shining example of British ingenuity, the LED, destined to light up the world and save us a fortune on our electricity bills. This is Calamity Prendeville, signing off from Science Watch.
Newsbang. Reality revisited without the pricey tickets. 1986.
And on this day in 1986, a masked menace descended upon London's West End, terrorizing audiences with high notes and chandelier crashes. Yes, the Phantom of the Opera opened its doors, unleashing a tide of musical mayhem that would sweep across the globe. This Gothic extravaganza has since become the longest-running show on Broadway, proving that nothing captivates the public quite like a disfigured musical genius with boundary issues. For more on this cultural phenomenon, we turn to our arts correspondent, Smithsonia Moss. Smithsonia, how has this masked marvel managed to haunt our stages for so long?
Now, at this point of the evening, we welcome listeners on FM who've just joined us.
Whoa, Newsbang Nation! It's your girl Smithsonia Moss, back to give you the lowdown on a musical that's more dramatic than a Real Housewives reunion and more enduring than Cher's career. That's right, babes. We're talking about The Phantom of the Opera, a show that's been haunting the West End and Broadway since 1986. And honestly, it shows no signs of giving up the ghost. Picture this. It's a foggy October night in London, and the grand dame of all theaters, Her Majesty's Theatre, is buzzing with anticipation. The curtains rise, the chandelier ascends, foreshadowing, and we're plunged into the dark, opulent world of the Paris Opera House, where a masked musical genius is lurking in the shadows, obsessed with a beautiful young soprano. It's a tale as old as time, honey. Creepy older dude falls for ingenue. Chaos ensues. But Phantom is more than just a gothic romance. It's a full-blown sensory experience. Andrew Lloyd Webber's music is a glorious, over-the-top blend of opera and pop, a soundtrack that will make you want to belt out All I Ask of You in the shower. And the sets? Honey, they're more extravagant than a Kardashian wedding, with a rotating stage, a boat ride through a subterranean lake, and enough candles to make a Yankee Candle Factory blush. What's the secret to Phantom's enduring popularity? It's those timeless themes, baby. Obsession, unrequited love, the struggle for artistic recognition. These are things that resonate with audiences of all ages, even if they haven't spent years lurking in a subterranean lair composing operas. Plus, there's something undeniably seductive about the Phantom himself. He's a bad boy with a tragic past, a tortured artist who just wants to be loved. It's like a gothic version of 50 Shades of Grey, only with more singing and less BDSM. And let's not forget the impact Phantom has had on pop culture. It's been parodied, referenced, and even turned into a movie. It's a global phenomenon, a musical that's been translated into dozens of languages and performed for millions of people around the world. So, if you haven't experienced the magic of the Phantom of the Opera yet, what are you waiting for? Get down to the theater, grab a glass of champagne, and prepare to be swept away by a world of romance, drama, and enough fog to make a Victorian novelist blush. Whoa!
Newsbang. You gave a bum steer, now watch your ears.
And finally, it's time to raid the newsstands. The Times screams Singapore Harbour raid, mass arrests and torture. Plus, a free helmet with every copy. The Independent reports, Qing dynasty starts to crumble after Wuchang uprising. With a 4-page pullout on how to build your own dynasty. The Telegraph goes with Indiana plane explosion. Claims 7 lives. Plus, a free map showing you where to find the bodies. The Mail leads with cricketer stuck in toaster. And the Express shouts cat so small it's hard to see. That's it for tonight. Newsbang will be back again tomorrow. Same time, same place, but with a different washing powder. Good night, and turn off the bathroom light on your way out.
Tune in next time for more artificially intelligent hilarity. Newsbang is a comedy show, written and recorded by AI. All voices impersonated. Nothing here is real. Good night.